Welcome to the Nexus. Let's talk about the functions of the liver. Right, so the liver have a different functions, right? So firstly, we'll talk about the energy metabolism. The first function is glycolysis. This is breakdown of glucose to pyruvate, right? So we need energy. So this pathway produces energy. Next is beta oxidation of fats, right? So fatty acids will undergo beta oxidation in synthesis of ATP, again very important. Amino acid degradation, lipid metabolism, right? So on the liver there is expression of low density lipoprotein and lipid remnant receptors, right? So these receptors for LDL and lipid remnant receptors are there on the what, on the liver. Production of nascent HDL, high density lipoprotein. This is actually we can say is good cholesterol. This one is bad cholesterol, right? So this actually transport cholesterol from the periphery to the liver, right? So the HDL will go to different organs, bringing cholesterol to the liver, and from there cholesterol will have other functions, right? HDL and chylomicrons transport cholesterol from the periphery to the liver. As I just said, the liver delivers triglycerides to the peripheral tissues via very low density lipoprotein, VLDL. Another role is breakdown of fructose, breakdown of serotonin, right? Okay. The next function is the storage function. It stores glucose as a polymer called glycogen. Storage of lipoproteins, storage of fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin A, K, E, D. Folate, that's vitamin B9. Vitamin B12, that's cyanocobalamin. Also storage of iron and copper. Next, the synthetic functions, synthesis. Right, so the first one will be gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis, neo for new, right? So this is a formation of glucose from non-carbohydrate sources, right? Next one is production of ketone bodies that provide energy for the muscles and the brain, right? So this fatty acids and amino acids will be converted to acetoacetate and beta hydroxybutyrate, right? So if you know diabetics, usually they have this acetone breath. That one is actually it's a ketone body, right? Synthesis of plasma proteins. Which plasma proteins? Albumin, globulins, clotting factors, acute phase reactants such as ferritin, CRP, and hepcidin. This one, CRP, is a C-reactive protein. It's just like that. Cholesterol biosynthesis, as I mentioned previously, that synthesis of cholesterol take place in the liver. Fatty acid synthesis, right? So I will talk about fasting in another video, right? But during day 1 of fasting, glycogen reserves are used for gluconeogenesis. Then during day 1 to 3 of fasting, after glycogen is depleted, there is production of free fatty acids for energy. Biosynthesis. Do you know the importance of emulsification of fats, right? And synthesis of vitamin D, that's conversion of vitamin D3 and D2 to 25 hydroxyvitamin D, right, which is subsequently transformed into 125 dihydroxyvitamin D, right? It's an active form of vitamin D and is activated there in the kidney, right? I will talk about vitamin D in another video. A regulation function, right? So firstly is glucose homeostasis, right? So the liver plays a role in raising of blood glucose via glycogenolysis, that's breakdown of glycogen into glucose, and gluconeogenesis, that the synthesis of glucose from non-carbohydrate sources, as I mentioned previously. All right, thus raising the amount of glucose. The next one is lowering the amount of glucose in blood via glycogen synthesis. So we are taking glucose from blood and making glycogen, meaning to say the level of glucose will decrease, and the glycolysis, thus breakdown of the glucose. Right. Okay. Next one is detoxification and clearance or excretion. Right. So there are different pathways. First one is urea cycle. Right. It's actually amino acid metabolism, and the liver produces urea, which is excreted by the kidneys. Next one is cytochrome P450. Is involved in detoxification. There is biotransformation, that's conversion of lipophilic substances into water-soluble substances, which can be eliminated with the urine or bile, right? So that's more of synobiotic metabolism. We'll talk about this in a separate video. Right, so stay tuned. Please make sure, if you're enjoying this, make sure you subscribe so that you won't miss any of my latest videos. Right, so in this case, there is breakdown of ethanol and a removal of unconjugated bilirubin. Right, so the liver will conjugate it with glucuronic acid, and it will excrete it in bile. Right, another very important function of the liver is that is a site of erythropoiesis, that's formation of erythrocytes from the 6th week of gestation until birth. Right, so you can see this one is a microscopic image of fetal liver, right, and is stained by hematoxylin or cyan. Right, you can see the magnification. Right, so the sinusoids of fetal liver contain several islands in red here. So these are actually erythroid precursors, especially erythroblasts, and this can be easily identified by a tightly packed round erythroblast nuclei, which are much smaller and darker than the nuclei of the surrounding. Right, so this is just the main important point is that the liver is the site of erythropoiesis from the 6th week till birth. Full stop. Thank you so much. If you like this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe.